I've always struggled to finish beats. It's like so easy to jump from one idea to another, start a new project, come up with a new chord sequence. Maybe I've just found a new drum sample that just sends me down the rabbit hole and into a new direction. Sometimes that can be really good, but other times it can just be a distraction. Over the many years I've been making music, I've practiced finishing tracks, and along the way have found different ways that help me to make that happen. So in today's video, let's check out how to finish more beats and revive old projects or loops that you might have on your hard drive and bring them back to life. I'm Matt Wild, a keyboard player and producer focusing on sharing music and learning. So the first thing I wanted to share with you today is just a quick insight into how I organize my files and Ableton projects. I haven't always done it like this, and I guess it's a recent adoption of a new system, but basically I organize my folders into years, and then within each subset of folders I have months, maybe some particular project files as well. And then within each year and within each month subset of folders, I have all of my different projects and ideas. And I find that using a timestamp or date system like this just helps to keep me organized. And just earlier today, I was going through some of my old projects and found one that I thought maybe we could check out together. So here it is. Let's take a listen to it. So basically, we have a drum groove and some chords, but that's it. But I really like the feel of it, so I thought it'd be a good one to share and work on together. So let's just get familiar with the chords. F sharp minor 7, E major 7, D major 7 sharp 11, B minor 7 to A major 7, back to F sharp minor 7 to C sharp 7, sharp 9. That's a mouthful. Cool. Okay, so we basically just have 4 bars right now. And I also noticed that we don't have any bass, so maybe let's just work on that now first. Let's use the Arturia Juno. This is one of my favorite VSTs. And I actually don't use it very often for bass, but maybe let's try something. Well, that's quite nice. Let's just get that. So what's really awesome, you might have just seen that I pressed this button up here, and that basically enables me to capture MIDI if I've just played something without having recorded. It's an awesome new feature. I think that came into play with Ableton Live 11, I believe. So sometimes if I have an idea in the moment and I'm like, oh, I didn't record it, I can just press that and we're good to go. So, okay. Yeah, that was nice, cool. Yeah, and so I landed on the, on that A, I landed pushed. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, it goes 1, 2, and. Sometimes I might spend a long time fine-tuning the note choices of a bass line or any other element, but I find it quite a creative process just to let go of things in the moment and treat them as good enough for now. We can always go back later to edit. This process isn't about judging what we're doing. This is just about letting it flow and coming up with new ideas. Okay, cool, so we've got bass. Because the chords are quite sparse, maybe I could add some form of melody. It might not need it, but yeah, let's experiment. Yeah, maybe let's use this Wurlitzer. I mean, yeah, that default patch was really nice. And so when I'm playing, I'm also hearing the subdivisions of the 16th notes, like, which is what the hi-hat's doing. So that way I can kind of like play on the 16th note subdivisions. Obviously it's something I've practiced a bit, but yeah, maybe you can hear that too. Yeah, something like that. Nice. Okay, so far we have like an 8-bar loop, and we had the first 4 bars. I guess actually we have this 2-bar hi-hat pattern as of maybe an intro. Maybe we'll work on that later. Okay, cool. Main theme, I guess. Second time around. the whirly melody. Okay, cool. It'd be nice to carry that on, but maybe we can switch things up again. Let's cut the hi-hats there. Yeah, that's quite nice. So now that we've removed those hi-hats, maybe we could add a pitch drop to those chords. So there. I like using this Max device, which basically sounds like this. So let's... maybe it can happen a bit later. Okay, cool. So now we have that pitch drop. That's a nice little moment. It's not too over the top. Let's copy the drums over. And maybe the bass as well. Maybe we can cut those hats out. Sounds good with just the claps, kicks and snares. The hi-hats can come in there, but that was a bit dramatic. Yeah, nice little fade there. That sounds good. Okay, so this section's nice, but maybe a little bit sparse. So maybe I could take the main chords over to the piano and have a play there. I want to start with a bit of a pickup. Let's try that. Cool, let's check if we've got something there. So that'll be a bit of a pickup into this new section. Cool, I mean, I could probably do a few more takes on that, but that sounds pretty good to me. So let's listen to what we've got so far. Get some processing on that piano. Nice, let's add a little bit of sidechain compression to that as well. Let's sidechain it to the kick. Let's do quite heavy and let's do a fast attack, slowish release. Yeah, I'll hit the sidechain pretty hard for this track. I think the energy kind of calls for it. Let's do a bit of a harder low cut there as well. Even like up to 200. Let's add a little reverb to that Wurlitzer. Let's try the Valhalla plate. Let's do like a medium space. Mix dial down. I like the Wurlitzer quite quiet in the mix. Reverb sounding nice. Okay, cool. Let's do another drum cut there. Let's add some delay. And some reverb as well. Let's try the Vintage Verb by Valhalla. Okay, so we've got like the main theme, additional Wurlitzer melody, hi-hat pattern drops out, and then we introduce the acoustic upright. Then maybe could go back into the main chord theme for now with the Wurlitzer twice round. Let's try that. Maybe we could introduce a pad or some strings there. Let's see if there are any notes that go across the whole progression. Okay, those strings are pretty prominent at the moment. Let's turn them down in the mix. Let's add a sidechain to that as well. Let's hit that nice and hard and send it to the kick. So I feel like we've made some good progress. In this session, we've not really focused on mixing or mastering, but before listening back to it, let me just throw a few plugins on the mix bus. Let's use the SSL G bus compressor. Let's not hit it so hard. I use Gullfoss, which is an intelligent EQ. I only hit it about 19%, maybe even slightly less. In my words, Gullfoss is basically adding frequencies or removing some frequencies based on what it thinks our human ears like to hear. So that's with additional frequencies added quite dramatically. But I just dial it in gently. I like this plug-in tube and Wolf compressor as well. Just dial that in gently. Cool. Cool, so let's have a listen from the top. Here we go. Yeah, I like those strings. Very subtle, but they just add a nice lift. Probably keep them going over like that, rather than restarting them. Cool, so not finished by any means, but we've definitely made progress, and that's not taken very long at all. So we started with drums, we had kick, snare, claps, and some hi-hats, and we had some basic chords. And then together we've just now expanded on the bass line and created a bass line. We have added a counter melody on the Wurlitzer. We've created an additional section which changes the texture and dynamics to then bring it back up again, back into the main theme with those strings. So what else would I do to finish this track? I would probably add some additional elements, maybe some Rhodes, maybe some additional synth lines. Typically, I'll just keep stacking and stacking, and then in a separate session, or in the same session but later on, I will chop away and edit and use all of the material I've captured as inspiration to then create new sections. If we had more time together as well, I'd probably add some additional subtleties like drum fills or additional VSTs, turning on and off in certain sections to create subtle and distinct moments. I might add a piano solo in this, or maybe a solo on the synth if it calls for it. And also we could probably get away with exploring the potential of creating a B section where either we expand on the original chords, starting pretty similarly and then going somewhere new, or changing the flavor entirely and creating a new progression that then somehow we manage to tie back to the main theme and the A section. And then the final thing I'd probably do is work on the mix and master if I was going to do it, or prepare it for master by a professional. One of the big things that I've often thought about is, when do you know when a track is finished? And for me, there are different distinct elements that help guide me to making that decision. The first is, am I satisfied with the composition? Like, do I feel good about it? Am I satisfied? Then in the listening phase, I'll be thinking, is the arrangement complete, or does it feel complete? Just then we talked about B sections, piano solos. I will probably explore that, and once it feels complete, that's a good sign. When you feel that there are no additions or subtractions that you want to make, that's a good sign, an indication for you to know that the track is finished. I always love sending my tracks to trusted listeners and other producers and musicians whose ears I value. And it's always good to ask them to give some honest feedback. Whilst it can sometimes feel awkward, especially in a group of friends, it's really valuable to help guide the music that we're working on. But above all else, I think that if you have an emotional connection to the track that you're working on, that's really what counts. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button, like and comment on the video as well, as it really helps this channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.